Okay, guys, good evening. I just wanted to talk to you tonight about presenting. This is a super. Hi, Fran.
Hi, turns out I had scheduled for the webinar tomorrow night.
Okay.
I,
Well,
I joined it and then I saw it said it comes on in 23 hours. I thought, yeah, probably not waiting that long.
well, so you had a hip replacement?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you all the best in recovery.
Thank you. Thank you.
On a Zoom, if you can get with Dad, that would be great. Sorry, my kids are needing me apparently. So.
Oh, no problem. So I'm not the only one, right?
Looks like you might be the only one so far. So I'm going to just go ahead and start, and it'll be recorded for the rest of them to watch later. So
Okay.
that'll work. So let me just get it back to, let's see here. Oh, okay. There we go. Go to thumbnails. Okay. So hold on just one second, please. Let me finish this. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, well, so tonight we were just going to talk a little bit about presenting. And what I wanted to cover was just sort of a typical outline of how a class should look and some of the resources and things that I like for presenting. And so I think the most important thing to remember with presenting is, I'm going to go ahead and mute you, Fran. Sorry about that.
Oh no, yeah.
There we go. Okay, we just had a little bit of feedback, so that works better. But if you have questions, feel free to unmute and hop in. So, okay. So, like I was saying, I wanted to share some of my favorite resources, some of my tips, and some of that kind of stuff. But before we start, because he is co-gangsters. All right, thank you. Before we start, presenting is a really important part of what we do, even as we start stepping into leadership positions and our silver and beyond, because this is really where we're bringing in new people to our business. And if we're feeling stuck or if we're feeling stagnant, we need to evaluate our presenting and how often we're doing that, because the more we get in front of people, the faster our business is going to grow and the more solid our business is going to grow. Okay, it's crazy around here as usual. So I have right here, this is the handout or the guide that I personally like to use. I know that there's also a handout in the Class in a Box kit that doTERRA does, and so either of those two are great resources. I like this one because I think that it's just colorful, it's pretty, and it's easy for me to follow along with. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and check out Share Success, and up in the right hand corner, and I'm not going to go to the website, but up in the right hand corner, if you go to quick links, and I can even quick link it, or I'll link it in the recording to this, but if you go to those quick links, you can actually watch Emily Pfeiffer go through this handout. And I studied her for a while, and I studied her presentation, and I took notes, and then I made the presentation my own. And so, have your master copy, if you will, of whatever handout or rip pad you're using for your events, and make notes on it. And that way, when you're presenting, I get super nervous. I'm nervous just on this Zoom. So I like to make myself some notes so that I stick to the schedule and I stick to the timeline. So like I said, this is my favorite. It's just very nice, very simple and concise. So I'm going to go ahead and I made just a little simple PowerPoint, and I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. So presenting, we can do this via one-on-ones. We can do this in classes in somebody's home, whether that's with, 3 to 5 people. Sometimes it's larger, sometimes it's smaller, but ideally a class would be about 5 people. And then online presentations and Facebook Live, there's Zoom, there's all these different resources and tools to present online. And so find what works for you in your business and do that. So before I go too much further, I wanted to talk about presenting and why I recommend teaching the same thing over and over. We do, and still where I'm at, we do a monthly or bi-monthly topic, whether that's seasonal threats, pain management, weight loss support, any of those types of those topics. But my presentation that I do day in and day out over and over again is just going to be the Natural Solutions handout or the Class in a Box handout. And the reason that this is super important is because of duplication. Duplication. And the reason duplication is super important, I want to share a story with you. I had a leader, and it was about a year and a half ago, and I called her, and we were talking, and I said, what's going on? How come you're, feeling stuck? How are things going? And she said, well, I'm just not having any leaders come along. So we talked a little bit more, and she told me what she was doing, and she was working full time, but she had a few hours a week to spend on her business. And I asked her, okay, so what class are you teaching? And she said, well, I'm teaching Slim and Sassy, and then I'm teaching non-chakras, and I'm teaching on this. So each time she went to teach, she was teaching a different topic. And I said, okay, well, that's great, but how much time are you spending preparing on that class? And she said she was spending a couple of hours a week prepping the handouts, prepping her presentation. And so she was spending all of the time that she had on getting ready to present these different topics. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but when I asked her, what are your leaders seeing, or what are people seeing? And they were seeing how much time she was putting into trying to figure out these different topics. So again, I'm not knocking the different topics, but really consider what you're duplicating. The other thing is that when we teach the same thing over and over, it becomes second nature. And so, like I mentioned, I make my notes on my RipPad because it helps me stay on track. It helps me when I get nervous, but I've done it enough that it's second nature. And several years ago when I first started, I had a class down, and they don't make that handout anymore, but I had it down. And then I decided to do something different that I saw somebody else do. And I bombed the class. And I talked to Kesha, and she said, well, what did you do? I said, well, I changed my class. And she said, why did you do that? If it's not broke, don't fix it. So that's my other suggestion, is find what works for you. And obviously at this level, something's working. So tweak it a little bit, but don't completely throw the baby out with the bathwater, and stick with what you're doing. Tweak it, ask for feedback, that type of thing, but really perfect your presentation. Okay, so how should a class look? So we're going to spend about 5 minutes on the introductions, and I put Edify right there at the top. And this is so important, and I can't tell you how important this is until you've not edified, and then you had a class that you thought, oh, this is awesome, and then you get no enrollments. And Monica Goodsell really talks about edification, and I get why it's so important, because Travis and we went to teach a class for a lady that we go to church with, and she had a well-attended class. There probably was 7 or 8 people there. And we got there, we sort of mingled, and then we got up to teach the class. And our friend did not edify us in front of her people. And so there wasn't the trust. They were kind of just like, I don't know what they were thinking, but who are these people? Why are they up there? And there was no relationship. So when you're edifying, have the host tell who you are, why you're credible, what you're going to teach about, and then you edify the host right back. So that might look like, Travis is my husband. He knows so much about these essential oils, and he's going to share with you about how they have helped him with his energy level and managing his chronic pain and discomfort. That's not compliant at all by any means. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But and then Travis would edify me back, just saying thank you for getting together your people, and I'm just so excited to share these oils with you guys and hopefully answer all of your questions. So study up on edification and really work that into your class. It's super important. After you do the edification, the person that's presenting is going to just express gratitude and thank the people for coming and spending some time out of their evening or away from their family or their busy life with you. And then I like to share my intention and my why. And this can be just as simple as a little bit about why I use the oils and what I hope to accomplish tonight, which is usually just helping people learn about natural, safe solutions for their family. And then I'm going to open up our beautiful essential oils because we know that when you get to experience the oils, they're just so amazing. So I like to do wild orange and peppermint. I know people like to do breathe or maybe past tense, but go ahead and start with that. And then you're going to move into your what and why. And I'm going to pull back up that little sheet really quick again, that Natural Solutions handout, if I can find it. Okay, so the what and the why. So this is why I like this Natural Solutions handout, because you're going to talk about the history, the Egyptians, and you can read it right from the handout. So that's super awesome. Egyptians used plant extracts for health, cosmetics, and religious purposes. Hippocrates, the father of modern health, used plants with his patients around 460 BC. My favorite oil, frankincense, and myrrh were given to the Christ child. And essential oils are mentioned throughout the Bible, so I just think that that's really cool. These have been around for so long and used for so many different things. And then Jean Valnet, this is something I didn't know. So Jean Valnet, he was a doctor during the World War I believe. So don't quote me on that, but watch Emily's presentation. So Jean Valnet used oils on soldiers. And then in 2008, doTERRA was formed with Co-Impact Partners, and they have growers all around the world to protect agricultural traditions and provide the most potent essential oils today. And then you can go on and talk about doTERRA's gifts of the earth and how they're in 3 million homes. Okay, so that is the what. And then you're going to talk a little bit about the how, the natural, effective, and safety of doTERRA essential oils. And we really want to hit up this part right here, talking about why doTERRA is different, that CPTG, our quality and purity standard, talking about the plants being harvested in their natural habitat. They're beyond organic. There's no fillers, pesticides, contaminants. And then our third-party testing, which we all know is super exciting. Okay. And so then this handout kind of goes into how to use them, aromatic, topical, and internal. And again, hitting on that CPTG part. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. Sorry. Okay. Okay, so we did our intro about 5 minutes. We did our what and why, the history of essential oils, and why doTERRA.
Hey, Alyssa.
Yes.
That the flyer did never come up. It stayed on your PowerPoint on the screen.
Okay, I am not sure why that happened, but I will. Have you seen that flyer, Fran? That one
I have, yeah, and I use that. I just, Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Okay.
Thanks for letting me know it's not showing up, so I won't keep going back to it since it's not working. But okay, so and then we're going to talk about how to use. And this is going to be the bulk of our presentation. So about 20 minutes is really all that it needs to be, because we're wanting to keep our class at about 45 minutes or less, just because I have found that when you go past that 45-minute marker, people start to glaze over. Even if you use all of the peppermint, they still start to just like, whoa, deer in the headlights. And so we definitely want to do experiential classes where they're getting to have hands-on experience with those oils. I like to limit what I'm using, so maybe 5 oils, lavender or a serenity. Breathe is a great one. I always pass around On Guard because we know that everybody needs that oil to keep their immune systems healthy. And then I really love to play the videos from the class in a box. I don't know about you, Fran, but I have just found that these videos are really engaging and they're just beautifully done. So I like to do that when I have the availability of a DVD player and stuff in people's homes. And then just remember that facts tell, but stories sell. I think we can get really into the science and and that type of stuff. But in my experience, when I tell a story about my daughter and how Digestin helped her when we were just looking for that solution, she was up all night, the Tylenol wasn't working, we went to the ER, and then we found that Digestin, and 30 minutes after applying, she would be back to sleep. So that's part of my story, and I'll share that. And I might pull in some other stories from myself and those of others that I've heard. I have a team member that has had amazing experience with On Guard and just keeping her family healthy when before it was just constantly going to the doctor. So share those stories and just make it really relatable, be authentic, and have fun with it. And then compliance, I know that this can be sort of a tricky issue for a lot of people. And I know for me for a while, it was kind of a stumbling block. But I always just like to remind people that compliance is in place to protect us as wellness advocates, and also these amazing essential oils. For a long time there, people kind of just shared in a way that wasn't protecting the oils. And I know doTERRA's done a lot with compliance, and I'm not going to go into that too much, but I'm just going to stress that online, if you're sharing stories and doing a lot of that stuff that can be traced back, that you really want to be careful and be compliant. And then in person, it is my personal understanding that when you're in person, you can use some of the terms and the wording a little bit more freely, if you will. And I don't want to just say, go out and say frankincense cures cancer, but at the same time, don't let compliance stop you from sharing authentically and sharing your stories and what doTERRA has done, especially in person. I think that's super important. And then how to use those essential oils. I always go back to my book, The Modern Essentials. I know a lot of people have been using that app in their classes because these days everybody has their smartphones on them. And so if you don't have that Modern Essentials app, it's super handy. And I even just use that if I'm out and about sharing a sample. If they're like, hey, what do you have for blah? I would look that up and just show them right then and there. And so I love to use both of those. I have a wellness advocate. She was presenting for, I believe, a scientist or some sort of doctor or nurse that was just very, very smart. And my wellness advocate, she is just amazing. She knows her stuff, but she said she got really nervous presenting in front of this lady. And so she said she put on her peppermint, kind of calmed herself down, slowed herself down, and she just went to the book and she just showed that resource. And I think it's super awesome that we have these tools right at our fingertips. We don't have to know the answers. So going back to that duplication part, man, I'm glad I don't have to know all the answers because I'm busy. And so if I can point people towards those tools and those resources, they can be empowered themselves. So anyways, back to my leader. She used the book in front of this lady. And at the end of the class, the woman said, I've met a lot of doTERRA people and they just want to show me everything that they know. But I really liked that you had the confidence, but you also showed me these resources and these tools. And she enrolled with my team member. So the book doesn't mean that you are weak or that you don't know anything. It actually gives people confidence that, hey, I can use these oils too. And so then the close, and I know Kesha's going to teach on enrolling next week, I believe. And so I'm not going to go into the close so much, but this is something to really, really study. And in that launch guide that you should have downloaded along with your silver guide is a script for your class. And if you don't refer to anything in that script for the rest of the class, definitely go to it for the close, because those are tried and true questions that Andy Goddard, Natalie, their whole team of people that have put together this Share Success training have put together, and they've tried it over and over again. And obviously it's working because we know how successful they are. And when I have used those 6 questions, my closing rate has just been through the roof. So I didn't put the 6 questions there, but definitely for your homework this week, go back to that launch guide and study the present script, and especially hit on that close script. Practice it in front of the mirror. Practice it on a friend, a spouse, your upline, so that you can really get that close down. Because here's the thing. Closing is important because we need to get these oils into people's hands. And we also need to be confident that we are helping them out when we get them into a wholesale membership, that they're getting these oils at the best price possible. The importance of LRP, getting that free product back. I was super excited when I logged into my back office today. I had 115 points today. I can buy laundry soap. I can buy my skincare. I can buy some supplements for my kids. I can buy shower gel. This is all stuff that I would otherwise have to go out and spend my hard-earned dollars on at Walmart, Vitamin Cottage, whatever big box store that looks like. And so just really have confidence in the wholesale membership and the LRP program. All right, let me see if I forgot anything. I'm going to look at my notes really quick. Okay, so something that I learned today in my handy dandy water bottle, I put 1 drop of Slim and Sassy, 1 drop of cassia, and 1 drop of bergamot. And then I put some ice and water in there. And apparently it's supposed to help with confidence. And I just, Zoom makes me like have major anxiety. So I put that in there. So hopefully, I think it's helping. So, okay. So yeah, have fun with your presenting, be creative, be authentic to you, and then just really practice it over and over and over, and you'll just be amazing at it, and it will become second nature, and hopefully you won't be nervous. I still get nervous, like I said, but it's definitely easier now that I've done it a lot. So Fran, what questions do you have for me? Do I need to unmute you?
I got it.
Oh, there you go.
I got it. Actually, this is really good review for me. I'm also doing a mentorship guide or a mentor program with 4 people in my downline. And so the materials are from the Truman team,
Okay.
which is another really good team. And they've got really good videos on all of these things and some of the audio things to listen to. So this is all very, very present in my mind. And you're so spot on as far as I'm concerned. It's just really, from what I've learned and what I've used too, it's just really the great model.
Uh-huh. And do you like the class in the box, or what's your typical way that you present?
I do like the class in the box, but I also like the Share Success one. Yeah, so I found one which I don't know where I found it because I haven't found it again, but it's actually just the pictures. It doesn't have any words on it, but it has sections for each of these things that that we need to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of room for note taking, so that kind of works well in a one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I really like both of these. When I think of all of the tear sheets that I used to buy.
Yeah. Well, and that was one thing that was really helpful for us, was to just narrow down. I felt like I was always trying to sort through tear pads, so it was nice to just have one and stick to it. And I like the Natural Solutions one, just because for me, it's easy to just print it off right from my computer, and rather than having to order them and get them shipped in. So it's sort of a, 6 dozen, whatever that saying is, 6 half dozen, one the other, or something like that. But for me, it's easier to print it off rather than order it and get it shipped, because most of the time I'm running out the door and I'm like, oh, I need tear sheets, print them off. So that's what works for me, but definitely it's not going to work that way for everybody. So I'm going to have to look for that one with just pictures. That sounds interesting.
Yeah. I'll see if I can try to find out where I got it from. Also, you can print out the ones from the class in the box right off of your office too.
Is that pretty new? I don't know if I've noticed.
No, in fact, it's old, and I don't know if it's still around, but I used to go to doterratools.com, And I've seen recently in the back office, they've got an enhanced or a new updated doTERRA tools, which
Okay.
I did not get to check out because I think I saw it like day before yesterday. But anyway, if it's in there under the forms and flyers, and that's where you find,
Okay.
like all kinds of stuff. But they do have all the class in the box stuff that you can order, but they have, the things that you can print out.
Oh,
So,
cool. I'll have
yeah.
to look that for that, and then maybe I can link it after I get the recording posted, because I know that
Yeah.
that would probably be
Yeah,
helpful
because
to people. So,
okay.
no, thanks for sharing that.
Okay.
So that's all I have tonight. Anything else that you need to check in about? All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with me, Fran. Good luck on your recovery. We'll see you soon.